station, there is a stipend that is paid to you. I'm seeing a lot of emojis showing that people are surprised by this. But we're developing you, and I think the kind of training that you get is worth worth the lack of payment. Now, I'm going to look at the statistics of the statistics. Now, we began this program. It's been on a trial run for some time. We have the figures for the last 3 years, which I've given there. So in 2021, we had 76 applications, and we took 56 pupils. In 2022-2023, we had 57 applicants, and we took 47. And in 2023-2024, there were 34 applicants, and we took all the 34. So as you can see, this is I would want to encourage more pupils to consider the judiciary. We have capacity, and I think with improved funding that we have, the enhanced funding that we've received from the Treasury, our capacity will be higher. So judiciary is a good place for you to join, for you to train. And I would encourage more and more pupils to come and try us. I have mentioned the roles of the various parties in this, and the registrars identify available pupillage vacancies in the respective courts. They develop a structured work schedule for the duration of the engagement. They ensure that pupils are provided with the necessary facilities, tools, and workspace for effective performance of assigned tasks. They supervise the implementation of the pupillage program within their jurisdiction. They appoint supervisors and trainers for pupils, and they maintain a central register and database of all pupils attached to the respective courts. The Director of Human Resource Management and Development receives applications for pupillage and coordinates placement with the various registrars, provides advice to the judiciary on pupillage program and activities, conducts assessment, monitoring, and evaluation of performance of pupillage program, coordinates induction programs for pupils, aligns pupillage program with judiciary's strategic plans, and compiles and disseminates annual reports on the performance of the pupillage program. Your supervisor, who is likely to be a judge or a judicial officer, will oversee the day-to-day work performance, set your performance targets, and provide a supporting environment for pupils to facilitate their development, and appraise the pupil and provide regular feedback on performance, and assign certificates of completion for the pupil. Now, to sell judiciary more, I would say that you get, if you become a pupil in judiciary, you get to work with the judges and the magistrates, and I think who are very highly experienced people. So you'll get training not only in areas of law, but also in life. And you do so in an environment that is exciting, that is intellectually stimulating, and in environment also that is collegiate in nature. And I think one of the advantages of judiciary is that we do not allow any kind of bullying. It's a very safe environment for Generation Zs to work in. So about you as a pupil, I've already mentioned Article 232 values in values of public service. You will be required to abide by the code of conduct and rules and regulations of the judiciary. You'll be required to complete assignments given by your supervisor. We also expect that you will complete the pupillage program as per the guidelines provided. You will, so that you can improve, because this is a fairly new program, so we enjoy getting feedback on what it is that you think is an area that requires improvement on our part. Definitely, I'm sure when you're asked about this, you will say we need to get paid. And I'm sure with time and with the kind of feedback that we receive, certain kind of compensation will be worked on, will be provided by the judiciary. That obviously requires you to provide feedback on the program. You are expected to submit a copy of the report on pupillage experience to the supervisor at the end of the program, hand over the property that is here in your possession, and fill in an exit questionnaire. The importance of this is so that we can also, it's a feedback mechanism so that we can develop this program even more and make it as fulfilling for both parties as it is outside with the programs outside the judiciary. We faced quite a number of challenges. We have not had a policy guideline until the other day, until March, when the Judicial Service Commission approved the guidelines. It's only yesterday that the guidelines were published. I have a copy of the guidelines, which I will share with Dr. Mutai and Mr. Sang after the end of this presentation. One thing for you as Generation Z is that judiciary is has embraced ICT, and we work from July. We intend to be completely paperless. In fact, the Chief Justice issued a circular saying that from 1st of July, we shall not be able to print documents. So being a digitally native cohort, you'll find a work environment that is that is fit for you. Right now, judicial officers, even when they have to write judgments and rulings, don't have to carry files, because most of what you require to read, the submissions, the pleadings, the record of proceedings are in the CTS portal. So we are, as much as we are, most of us are Generation Xers and millennials, we have almost the same kind of digital knows just like you. One other thing regarding our requirements is that we require you to have a personal accident cover that you'll be required to have, and then you'll also be required to have an NHIF medical cover. As you will be dealing with confidential information most of the time, you will not be permitted to, you'll have to enter into a non-disclosure agreement with the judiciary, which is also covered under the Official Secrets Act. So with that, Mr. Sang, that is my presentation, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, Justice Gregory Mutai, yes, for the good presentation. We have also managed to learn about the opportunities at the judiciary, which is good for our pupils. They now know of the opportunities. And of course, I think the purpose of pupillage should not be focused so much on whether you're getting paid or not. It's about learning. So thank you for that. I now want to open the floor for any for the plenary discussions, whether we can have questions, comments to the presenters. So the ICT can facilitate. If there's someone, just raise your hand, and I should be able to pick you to give your comments or questions. Yes, Moalia Zakaria. Let me. Yes.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Yes, Moalia.
First of all, let me appreciate the panelists for the great presentations and insights they have given to us this afternoon. So maybe my question is that from the experience of our friends who have gone ahead, they have really had a challenge come January in obtaining placement in various law firms for pupillage. And I think other offices, for example, the office of the ODPP, they always open for applications late in November. And when we get to December, law firms are busy closing down, and also public offices and these centers for pupillage are also going on recess. So I don't know whether Kenya School of Law can have a proper policy whereby students can be able, or these centers can be able to open for applications before the close of the year, so that there can be no confusion, because the pupil age is supposed to begin in January, and most of the students have, most of these centers have not opened before, for application before November and December. So I don't know whether we can have a policy, a good structure that can be put in place to allow students to make for these applications way before during the year to this center, so that we will not have confusion at the beginning of the year. I would like to get understanding of that.
So you are saying the challenge is, like, you can kindly repeat what the challenge is.
Yes, I'm saying the challenge is that maybe there is a lack of a proper policy to guide these pupillage centers on the deadlines, timelines of how to allow the students at the Kenya School of Law to make applications. Because you see there's a scramble and everywhere. For example, right now there are some law firms that are opening for pupillage Some have not yet begun opening applications for this. So I think there's a lack of a proper policy on application to these pupillage centers, and I would like to know whether KSL has got a policy on the issue.
Okay, so you are saying there has to be sort of harmony between KSL and the pupil masters in the terms of the timing of the opening of pupillage.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine. I think the issue is now coordinating with the pupil masters and creating the necessary sensitization on the start of pupillage so that there is harmony between the period that is for KSL and the period that the pupil masters open up for pupillage. Of course, I think we may not so much really run the programs of the external entities, but it is something that we can create more sensitization on the same.
Mr. Kibet, allow me to also speak.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I joined late. I had trouble joining, and I know there are also quite a number of people who have not been able to join. We apologize for the technology issue. We endeavor to share the recording afterwards. But just to respond to the question by, I think it was called Mukar.
It's called
Muhalia.
Muhalia.
Yes, Muhalia. Most law firms, actually, most law firms that I intend on taking pupils, you'll notice they'll advertise way in advance. Again, I apologize, there's construction behind my office, so it may interfere with my whatever. So we have a lot of advertisements coming through the school, and we normally put them up on their website, and notice boards. And we share also with the class reps on the WhatsApp groups. So those law firms that are intent on taking pupils, would ordinarily advertise well in advance. As we speak, I know there are law firms that have already even picked their pupils for 2025. You will also notice, I think the ODPP as well as the AG will also advertise well in advance. I think the challenge we've had over the last 3 or 4 years is the disorganization that came with COVID and the reorganization of the academic year, so that it was not clear when it was ending. We had a bit of crash programs, so we had the academic year ending at odd times, sometimes April, sometimes June. So that sort of a bit interfered with the traditional way of handling pupillage. But from this year, last year actually, we've reverted back to the traditional ATP calendar. And I think from now going forward, you will notice that it will now just run seamlessly. Before the end of the year, there are those who advertise well in advance, there are those who advertise in the middle, and then there are those who advertise towards the end of the year. And then there are those who don't advertise at all. Now, those ones we have no control whatsoever. So if you wish to do pupillage, be on the lookout for the advertisements that come. Check the website, check your WhatsApp groups as sent by class reps. And then if it's a law firm that does not ordinarily advertise, then you may just make your applications also. Just send them around or visit law firms and ask them if they wish to take up people for the following year. And then you can start making the applications early enough. But as Mr. Sang says, we really have very little controls over external stakeholders on this issue, but we will always share the advertisements that come our way. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Konuche. I think for those who don't know her, Madam Konuche is the Assistant Director of the Kenya School of Law in charge of Advocates Training Program, under which this pupillage program falls. I hope, Muhalia, you've now satisfied with the answer, but you can get in touch with us for any further clarification. Oichoi Kevin.
Yes, I hope I can be heard.
Yes, you can be heard, but we can see your face. If you can, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, my name is Kevin Ochoa. And I appreciate all the sentiments that have been discussed before during this workshop. But I would like to particularly refer to the presentation by Councillor Elsie, as well as the Honorable Judge about remuneration of pupils. Well, I feel like it's quite a hassle for pupils who are not being remunerated or given a stipend at the end of the month because of the challenging economic times and all the surrounding environments that we have. So shouldn't we then have a discussion on probably having a minimum stipend, let's call it a stipend, not even remuneration or salary. Shouldn't we be having a discussion of having like a minimum stipend for pupils, regardless of which institution they are in, be it the judiciary, the law firms, something that is binding to all institutions which are offering pupillage opportunities? Should we then not have such a discussion, of course, as stakeholders being Kenya School of Law, Pupil Masters, the AG, the ODPP, and all these offices that are stakeholders in, of course, overseeing the pupillage program? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin is raising the issue of that there's a lot of hassle, which is true. There's a lot of hassle. And of course, he's asking, well, shouldn't we have a stipend? And goes further to ask, propose even that we need to have a minimum say standards of how much stipend should be given. Okay, Elsie, do you have any reaction?
Well, I've seen most of the reactions is on stipend, but like I said, times are hard, and we understand times are hard, and like I have been there before, but I am not saying pupils ought not to be paid. I'm just saying don't have too much expectations to it, because again, if we say that we want a maximum or a minimum cut or pay, like he's suggesting to be put across to all law firms, then it means that some of these law firms will not be able to employ people, will not be able to take in pupils, because not all law firms are able to maintain that amount of money. We have different law firms, and that is why I gave an example of Ivy League firms, as they are referred to, and the ones that they refer to Onyalo law firms. So it is not that we are championing, or I am championing for pupils not to be paid. That is far from it. What I was saying is just do not have too much expectation on what to be paid. Your expectation should be in what you are learning.
Thank you. So you are saying that work hard enough and go to the Ivy League law firms, the ones that can pay better than what other firms pay advocates. Okay. Thank you for that reaction. Justice Mutai. Sorry, you are muted.
Sorry about that. I sympathize with the sentiments of Oichoi, Kevin. I think from my own experience, pupils do a lot of work. I think for most part, they do a lot of drafting, they do a lot of research. And I think in a fair world, they should be remunerated. But I also agree with Ms. Oile's sentiments. If remuneration is made mandatory, we'll have a situation where the number of pupillage places available may become restricted, because it will then become a cost center that will act as a disincentive for having a lot of pupils. So we have to balance a lot of these things. I don't think many people will want to take somebody's labor and not remunerate them. So I would imagine that it is very rare that a law firm that doesn't pay, I think, would be a very rare firm. As for judiciary, I think the challenge we have is that it's a new program with feedback from pupils. I think payments should be will be forthcoming very soon because you expect these young people to come to work at 8 and to leave at 5, and there's a certain expense that comes with that. So this is something for reform. When I have a discussion with the Directorate of Human Resource, because I collaborated with them, I will give them this feedback that a lot of the pupils do require payment. Yeah, but it's a law reform issue as well. I think there are certain jurisdictions where pupillage program is seen as some form of work that is subject to minimum wage regulations. Yeah, so this is something that we should develop. It requires a lot more follow-up. Yeah, so that there is also fairness to the pupils who are doing what may be said to be unpaid labor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Justice Mutai. That's encouraging, at least for the pupils. I don't know if Madam Konuchi, you have anything to say about the issue of setting a minimum pay for pupils, or should we be telling the pupils that yes, it will be good if you are paid, but do not have a lot of expectations? Can you focus on the learning? Yeah, they actually have law firms that they will not tell you how much they'll pay you. You'll just be surprised. They want to see, first of all, whether you are coming to learn or to earn a pay. Then you get surprised that you have been paid at the end of the month. What do you say?
Thanks, but this is an issue that has been discussed over and over again. All the meetings we've had, normally it's an issue that comes up. As a school, really, we can only encourage, noting that it is contract of two parties and really privity of contract. We are not able to come in. But yes, it would be good, of course, if they could be remunerated, really. We all have needs, and noting the economy and all that. And by that time, normally I know parents are also tired of you. You've been in school 4 years, you've been KSL almost 2 years, and here you're on pupillage still asking for pocket money. It can get hectic at some point. So we encourage our stakeholders to remunerate our pupils, especially the judiciary. I think they should create some budget at something, even if it's a token for fare and shoes. I think it would be really good. Yeah, I think that's what I can say for now.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for that. Any more questions or comments? Even comments are encouraged.
I can say something. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. That's yes, Senior Justice Munyithia.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and thank you, Judge, for that talk, and thank you, our former Vice President, who is now practicing in Mombasa, for coming for this workshop. I just wanted to touch something on the philosophy behind this payment thing. The Office of the Attorney General has a benchmark. There is a minimum money that they pay. Maybe perhaps the judiciary can borrow from a leaf from that. And then their pupils are there for a period of 1 year. It's a very encouraging program. You stay for 6 months, then 6 months you're over, and if you are very good, you can just be promoted to work within the ages. But for the students, what I will advise them is, if you put payment as the yardstick to get pupillage, you are likely not to get it. Most of the pupil masters, as Sang has said, they want to know whether you are willing to learn. And then the second thing is, don't ask them how much. Tell them, in case you go for interview, the token they give others, they give to you. That's the advice I give. Otherwise, you might knock many doors trying to look for pupillage. Secondly, it is critical you start applying as much early as possible, maybe in July, so that come January, you'll be able to get a place. One of the challenges I found is getting the 5 PCs. So ensure that the pupil master where you're going, that person actually has the practice certificate that are required so that you don't get a problem. The third thing that I learned is that some people did not listen to the orientation, and therefore they go for pupillage and forget to collect the workbook. So you might be in a law firm for 2 months and you haven't collected your workbook. What happens? You have lost that time. So I think that's important. And fourthly, if you are outside town, please, I encourage you guys to form a network of our subgroup so that we get to know where you are. People struggle, people have social problems, and then you think you are just alone. So it's important to have a support group that assists very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Munithia. He's a principal lecturer at the Kenya School of Law and the previous coordinator of this pupillage program. Thank you for that. Any other person? In case I cannot see your hand, just unmute and talk. Yes, Bonoko.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you clearly.
Thank you so much for the privilege to contribute. Now, I've been following up in the proceedings and actually noted a comment, or rather, which came later question from a student in respect to perhaps requiring, requiring the Kenya School of Law to perhaps regulate in terms of when should we, for example, have the issues of pupillage. When should the firms start applying or rather sending the applications or request for the same? So my advice to the students is maybe the Kenya School of Law may not be in a position to just regulate how firms should do the intakes, how they should recruit pupils. So my advice would be try to use your connections amongst yourselves, use your social media so that as these requests or applications are being sent out, you're also you're appraised by this request. The law firms actually have different schedules in terms of some may want to recruit at the beginning of the year, some may want to recruit mid-year. So it is just upon yourself to talk to your lecturers, just be proactive in looking for the information in respect to seeking for the pupillage positions. Then also to just emphasize what my seniors have said, especially Mr. Munithia, that the consideration of money really will deny you a big opportunity. You may get a really good law firm that does good training, but because your consideration is money, you go on to forgo that opportunity, not knowing that just a period of like 6 months, and then you'll be placed in the money that maybe you're considering. So the fact receipt and advice to the students who are looking for the pupillage is that you can forgo the issue of the money and just consider yourself the 6 months of getting to learn. With that, then you can find yourself well blessed and well trained during that program. And also remember that it's only during that period that you get really to learn, to make all those mistakes. So if your priority is money, then you may not really see that in itself. So go with that mentality of you're going to learn and you'll really gain so much, right? Thank you so much, and back to you.
Thank you, Hesbon. Senior Anastasia Otieno, also colleague and principal lecturer at the Kenya School of Law. You have something to say?
Okay, mine is just for the students. I just want to remind you that by this time, just remember that you're an adult. When you go when you send your parents to the pupil master, then you will not get a pupillage place, even where there's a vacancy. So just carry yourself, write applications. If you want to go there, just walk in, talk to them yourself, but don't send your parents.
Thank you, Anastasia.
That is
actually,
all.
you are actually an adult as at now. So actually, some people masters will not take you. They'll wonder why are you sending your guardian? Why are you sending your your parent? Of course, even when you are sending a parent, they expect that you are the one who is doing the application. So people must well, can you do the application yourself and then you come and do the interview. So thank you for that. Any other person? We are about to close. Yes, Omar Samuel. Yes, Samuel, speak. Unmute and speak. Yeah, Esbon, your hand is still up.
Apologies, it's an all hand.
Okay, okay. Any other person as we wait? I don't know what's happening with the Omar's. He's still muted. Any other person who can speak? Yeah, Brian Okoth is saying thank you for the webinar. Can we take 2 or 3 more people before we close? I know we are beyond the time that we had planned for. So if there is no one, then I'm about to. Lang Ingrid, you want to say something? You want to say something?
Oh shit.
Lang, you can please mute. Okay, thank you for that. Any other person? Any other person? Madam Konuchi, anything you can say before we close?
Yes, thank you, Sam. I was not able to make my opening remarks, I think, because I was not logged in. I had challenges logging in. But I just wanted to, I know our stakeholders out there, pupils and students, anytime you need information, please refer to the website. Our pupillage guidelines are available in the download, I think it's the download section or current student section in the website. You can read through them. Pupillage deed is also quite elaborate. We were able to update it last year. I invite Ribin to look at it. He challenged us to update it. I just want to tell him we updated it as recent as last year. It should, I think, have more information right now. But if you have anything you'd want us to add to what is there, please let us know. So any information that you need, please reach out. Please check the website. If it doesn't answer your question, you're always free to reach out to myself or Mr. Sang or to the school. Generally, we will be on standby to answer any questions regarding pupillage. We also receive quite dynamic and unique cases, especially from our pupils, and we try to resolve them the best way we can. Some of the complaints we get include toxic environment. I think that has been addressed. Harassment, sometimes sexual harassment. Actually, that is actually probably the highest kind of complaint that we receive. And we want to just urge pupil masters not to be predators, but to please nurture our young ones so that they can grow into the profession without trauma and without feeling like the world is against them. We also receive complaints about pupils being asked to do tasks that are not related to pupillage. I think about 2 years ago, there's a lady who called me and told me that she's required to report to the office at 7 a.m. to clean the office, to wash the dishes from the previous day, to clean the toilets. Then 8 a.m., she transformed now into a pupil and starts the legal work. Then in the evening again, cleaning up. So maybe we can, as pupil masters, also be kind to the pupils. Let's just nurture them in the areas of the law. We can get other people to do these other duties that are not necessarily law related or that will help them grow in the legal profession. We have also had issues of sometimes there's incompatibility in personalities between pupils and pupil masters, and sometimes you have to step in as a school to try and sort out that. We have sometimes very vindictive pupil masters who don't want to sign workbooks, don't want to sign confidential letter, or don't want to do the certificate of completion, and the pupil really suffers. And I think also as pupil masters, we need to be fair. Let us be fair to the young ones. It also puts us as a school in a very awkward position when I have to call a colleague and ask, okay, what is the problem? How can we help each other? Sometimes it's very awkward and not nice at all. And the last one I want to point out, sometimes we have collusion now between pupils and pupil masters. So you know very well the pupil is not doing pupillage, but they agree with the pupil master that if the supervisor comes along, they lie. So the whole law firm is lying to you as a supervisor. Oh yes, he's around, he's been sent to court or to the registry or to, you know, out of town. And they know very well the person is not there. So I think we are a profession support required at least to act not just in the best interest of the profession, but also to nurture the young ones to know that it's important to tell the truth. It's important to do the right thing at the right time. So I think that's about it. That's what I wanted to say, especially from the departmental level. And we are always ready and available to assist where we can. Sang, thank you so much. Over back to you.
Thank you, Madam Konuche, and we are closing it now. So in closing, I would like to thank the KSL Pupillage program team for setting up this workshop, starting with Madam Konuche, Assistant Director of ATP, who coined the theme of today, Pupillage Generation, the Gen Z. Ms. Peris Kamau, the admin, and myself and other colleagues. Thanking also the KSL marketing team for creating the publications for this workshop, led by Mr. Ali Kakweli and others, together with the partners LSK and LSK Nairobi branch, where Ribin is the vice chairperson. The KSL ICT team for setting up and administering the virtual session. Lynn, you told me what the challenges were in terms of people trying to log in. I think they were trying to log in with the wrong credentials, but I'm happy that we managed to get some good numbers log in. In future, we will improve. Facilitators of the session, Honorable Justice Gregory Mutai, Mombasa High Court, who managed to take off time from a personal pressing matter. We are happy that you managed to come and participate with us. Our CEO, Dr. Henry Mutai, Advocate Rimin Ondwari, the Vice Chairperson of Nairobi LSK branch, and the Advocate Elsie Oile of Kuto Associates. Finally, and importantly, all the members of the audience who created time from your busy schedule to attend this session, and any other person that I may not have remembered. We hope to see you next year. Asanteni. On any issues, CPD points, contact Peris of Kenya School of Law, 0725 276 216. Thank you very much. You may leave at your own pleasure.
you.